Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have Paul Coach Frank with us, and Paul is from Slough House, California, which I am not familiar with. But Paul, it's great to have you. You have coached everything under the sun, I believe. And so I want to understand how the coaching world and the real estate world go together and how you got there.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's a passion for helping people. My dad kind of instilled that in me from a very young age. It's interesting, as you said, I've been an athlete and a coach most of my life, coached 25 plus years, and then COVID ended that sports coaching career one afternoon in Alameda. And as timing would have it, it kind of just flowed organically into the real estate world.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow. So you weren't into real estate prior to that time period.
I was in real estate my entire life from a very, very young age. But as far as the mentoring and coaching aspect of it, I was consumed, let's say, with time on the field and didn't really have any additional time. So when my coaching career on the field ended, it just sort of morphed into this mentoring arena for real estate.
So how did you start out in those COVID years, kind of marketing yourself as a real estate coach?
I've never really marketed myself as a real estate coach. It too is pretty organic. Had people reach out to me. About 4 years ago, I transitioned platforms into another home for my brokerage, which sort of opened the door for that mentoring and teaching and coaching venue.
Well, that's cool. So you've been an agent for a long time.
Yes, yeah. Since I think I was 18 thereabouts, been a
Oh,
general
wow.
contractor and broker for a very long time.
So yeah, you're a California GC. You still hold a GC license, or am I
Uh,
mistaken?
I do, but I generally don't tell people that anymore. I've been a developer contractor as well for a very long time. Stopped building what I developed in the early 2000s, I think, because it just became too complicated to both develop and build.
Oh yeah, okay. So you stayed on the development side.
Yes, yes. That's always been sort of the bread and butter for decades, is the development, but also the brokerage as well.
Mostly up in the area where you live, or where do you work?
All over the United States, done projects all over the country, every
Really?
product type, a little bit of international work. So yeah, jack of all trades, master of none.
That's cool. So give me a little clue. What's an example of maybe one of the projects you've developed?
I've done in Elk Grove several projects from retail, uh, multiple retail projects to a couple like 100,000 foot Class A office buildings. Done mini storage, industrial. Did some medical centers back in Oklahoma. Um,
Wow.
all sorts of different stuff. There, people get fixated on product specialties, especially in brokerage. As far as I'm concerned, they're all boxes intended to generate income. It doesn't really matter whether people sleep in them or make widgets or sell widgets or count widgets. They're boxes to create income.
So how do you pick a project?
Um, it in the past, opportunities brought to me some of the larger stuff that we're working on now in terms of industrial build to suit. They're just opportunities that I've been approached about. The office projects, it was a need in that community that I recognized, and they're growing. Elk Grove is the market that I did, probably 10 or 12 projects there in its period of time when it was blossoming as a new city. So all about identifying those opportunities. Also done a lot of build to suit work for QSRs. Did work for McDonald's and Burger King. Do a lot of work or have for Dutch Bros Coffee. Build to suit work, as well as Go To Food or Go To Cinnabon, Annie Ann, some of their street side work.
So typically, yeah, you're developing, you're building the project, and then do you actually own it, or what happens then?
Yeah. I either retain ownership or will sell it after it seasons a little bit. I do a lot of 1031 exchange work, both for clients on the brokerage side as well as our own account.
Oh, that's cool. So it's kind of just all morphed into this kind of gradual thing, and then you have your kind of side job, which really is sounds like a full-time job of coaching, or you used to.
Yeah. Like I said, whenever COVID hit, I forget that date, I blocked it out. But I had a significant period of my life and time dedicated to coaching on the field, and that was eliminated, and it opened up some opportunities to help people in the real estate arena. I've got mentees all over the country, from Florida to Hawaii, that I help.
So give me a little clue, or give the audience a little clue about kind of what you go through with a particular person that needs some coaching in real estate.
Yeah, well, it really depends on their experience level. I have those that have come out of well, I don't want to say specialized, but I do have a number of professional athletes that
Mm.
come with networks, and their ability to connect with people is helpful in commercial real estate. But I have people transitioning from residential real estate or from other careers into real estate. It really depends. And then, of course, those that have the network or the following were more focused on the technical skills of doing deals, whereas those that don't have the network, you got to create that network to get the deal flow, and we can make the deals happen after that.
So are you on, depending on the person you're coaching, they may need help in terms of finding investors, and you help them go through that process?
Yeah, not, I do, as far as the development side, I answer a lot of questions. As I say, all education has a price tag, and I've learned a lot over the years, as I'm sure you have. And as you can appreciate, in commercial real estate, there isn't a good book on it. It is a lot about learning either through trial and error or hopefully vicariously, which is what I advocate for. I do a couple weekly calls that for about an hour on Wednesdays and Fridays, where we bring in different case studies and issues that people are facing. And I encourage everybody to take notes, because it may not be tomorrow, it may not be next month, it could be 10 years from now that you run into that problem, that that little episode or exposure could save your rear end.
Yeah, no, I mean, having worked in architecture and design and project management over the years, you just kind of never know what's going to come up. You may have a gas leak like I did today. So, what do you do in that situation? So you
Yeah.
never quite know what's going to hit you.
And in the last 5 years, it has become exceedingly difficult and complicated. I liken it to that game Whack-A-Mole. You used to know where they'd all pop up, and you get used to those little guys popping up and whacking them, and now they're like drilling holes in the side and popping up in places you never thought they could show up before.
So, what's your thoughts about construction costs these days?
It has been a growing problem, both the entitlement process, because and that's one of our, I would say, differentiators on the brokerage side, is that been a commercial developer and contractor for 40 years. So our perspective is a little bit different than the average broker in terms of every aspect, dirt to disposition, as we trademarked. Um, the entitlement process, the entitlement costs, and then, as you said, the construction costs are shocking to me. And I do layouts and explain the process to people, that you have a vision for a project, and it may not be 4 years until that project is completed and you're looking at takeout financing. And if that vision was in what I refer to as a 4-4 environment, 4 cap and a 4% interest rate environment, and it comes to fruition in a 6-6 environment, that's a completely different picture. And a lot of people don't appreciate that and what the impact of that is on the numbers, let alone the costs themselves.
Yeah, no, development in the San Mateo area where I live has basically come to a screeching halt just because of the numbers. So, well, and
Yeah,
the
we've been on the brokerage side pitching a couple of retail sites that we weren't interested in to some major retail developers, and one of them came back and said that he is re-entitling all of his retail land to residential because, as he put it, if somebody gave me the land due to the entitlement costs and construction costs, the numbers still don't work. If he had it, the land was free, the
right.
projects still don't work, which was enlightening, kind of reassuring that he was seeing the same thing that I was.
Yeah, that just happened here locally in San Mateo. There was a big shopping center site that was going to be redeveloped, and now it's going to be, I don't know, 400 units of housing. So,
Yeah.
completely different from the original concept that was put out. So,
Yeah, it's going to be and I speak about this often, especially in the industrial or light industrial arena. We have considerable demand for light industrial space for the plumbers, electricians, the
mm,
trades, all of those people. And we can't, and others can't develop it because of those entitlement and construction costs. What you see is a lot of build to suit for logistics. For example, we've got, 1,000,002 square feet for Amazon, where they've got to have that box to move that product, and they are less concerned over the price to create that box than, Joe's plumbing or Steve's electrical, right?
yeah, that's interesting. So, what you're basically saying to me is, hey, the market is for these big box guys, the guys that have money that can do the logistics and have it pay for themselves. And the market's kind of gone away for the smaller mom and pop shops.
Yeah. Yeah. But as you said, they continue to develop the housing, but at least in the markets that I've worked throughout the country, it is in most of them very difficult to create that light industrial space right now at a price that anybody can afford, or even competing with the market. Even if the demand is there, if the numbers are too high, it doesn't make sense for them
What's light industrial running these days per square foot?
to build.
Yeah.
Um, I hesitate to even quote that. One of our major developers on a national level, I was having this exact discussion with them, and I don't want to name the company, but it's unknown quantity. They had looked at a project. I think it was 50 or 60,000 square feet, and they were coming in at $547 a foot.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's, I don't believe, inclusive of land. That was,
Just the construction.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Wow.
unbelievable.
Yeah. So you put a land cost under it and it jacks it up that much more.
Yeah,
Off you go. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, office space is outrageous, residential is outrageous, and there doesn't seem to be any um, price reduction in sight at this point.
No, no, it's quite interesting, and when you combine the difficulties of the entitlement process, the cost of the entitlement process, and the unknowns of supply chain, switchgear, transformers, things that are outside of our control, along with the costs of all that. It takes a risky business to a point that, especially at my age, is not as palatable as it was, 20 years ago.
Wow, yeah, things were, it seems like 20 years ago, things were, even though they were difficult at that time, it was much easier than the current situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I have one project that looking at actually it's a anchored retail center that we did, and I have a about an acre pad that I was going to do my own office on, have it all designed and ready to go, about 10,000 square feet. The entitlements, just building permits, $587,000
Ah,
to build that.
not that, does that include architectural engineering fees, or that was just
That
the city fee?
those are stamps on paper to allow you to
Oh,
build.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that, is an interesting exercise because it's something that I've always, that one was shocking to me, but it's something that I've been used to over the years
Right.
and decades. And with that one, it was the first time that I actually asked my team, my architects, my civil engineers, my civil engineering contractor, my subs, what do you think the building permits are? And I'll tell you, nobody even came close to guessing what that one was. I think the
Wow.
highest guess I had was maybe 250,000.
Like half of what it was then.
Yeah.
Less
Yeah.
than half.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow. And well, I mean, do the cities not kind of tell you what the fees are going to be, or why, this just sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, you get a pro forma on them, but again, things take so long to transpire and get done that things change by the time you get there. Gosh, I had one of my office projects that I went in with checks for building permits. I'll never forget. I forget the year, but it was September 3rd, and they had all of my checks for the million plus in fees. And one of them, the clerk said, "Oh, this one's wrong." They had an emergency ordinance the night before that
Oh no.
increased the DOT fees another 300,000 above
Oh,
what they had quoted. And we had a 6 month, a 3 month, a 2 month, a 2 week, making sure everything was in line, and had no notice of this. Usually you would see a sign on the door, hey, submit by or pull by. Otherwise, you're going to be subject to the new fee structure. And this was a quote unquote emergency ordinance. I could have paid the fees the day before and
ha.
saved 300 grand.
Oh my God. Wow.
And those are marginal dollars, obviously,
Oh yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're not recouping them.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe 5, 10 years down the road you might, but
Yeah.
yikes. Wow. That is unbelievable. So, any ability to predict what the crystal ball is going to tell us here?
There's always opportunity. We're doing more work on the brokerage side than we ever have before, by far. So you just got to look a little harder for those opportunities, on the brokerage side. On the development side, we still have build to suit opportunities. It's a matter of those relationships and making the numbers work. Certainly not as easy as they were, 20, 30 years ago, but there's always opportunity out there.
Wow. All right. Well, just for fun, before we end here, what's your favorite food or sandwich?
Oh, wow. Favorite food or sandwich? Well, we have a Mexican restaurant. So I'm going to go with Mexican. I like tacos.
All right. All right. And who in the world, alive or maybe not so alive, would you like to sit with a taco and eat?
Oh, wow. How about John Wayne?
Oh, God, I love it. Okay. Oh, that is great. I love it. All right. Well, all right, Coach. I certainly appreciate your time. Where can people get a hold of you?
You can go to our website, which is www.pdf, like the Adobe file, hyphen USA.com. So PDF hyphen USA.com, or email me at paul at PDF USA.com.
All right. Well, I think we should talk again in 3 to 6 months because who knows what the world's going to change into over the next few months.
Hey, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting right now. Well, this was a great conversation. I enjoyed it.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.